Have you ever felt like invisible hands were guiding your life, even in the hardest moments? There's something happening in your life right now that you may not fully understand yet. You've been through seasons that made no sense, doors that closed when you expected them to open, and paths that redirected when you were certain of your direction. But what if I told you those weren't accidents or misfortunes? What if every closed door, every unexpected turn, every moment of divine intervention was evidence that God has placed His seal upon your life? This is not a message for everyone scrolling through their screen today. This is a word specifically for you, the one who has wondered why your journey looks different from others, why you've been protected when you should have fallen, and why certain things simply will not leave you alone no matter how hard you try to move on. If your spirit is stirring as you read these words, it's because heaven is confirming what has already been at work in your life. God has marked you as His own, and once that seal is placed, everything changes. I know you've been carrying questions that keep you awake at night. You've wondered why your life feels more constrained than others, why you can't seem to move freely in places where everyone else appears comfortable. You've asked God why He allows certain struggles while others seem to breeze through life. There have been mornings when you woke up exhausted from fighting battles no one else can see. There have been nights when you've cried silent tears, feeling isolated even in rooms full of people. You've smiled through conversations while your heart was breaking. You've shown up for others while barely holding yourself together. I know about the doctor's appointments that brought reports you didn't want to hear. I know about the financial statements that made your stomach drop. I know about the phone calls that changed everything, the conversations that ended relationships you thought would last forever, and the moments when you had to be strong for everyone else while falling apart inside. I see the weight you carry that no one else notices. I see how you've had to explain yourself, defend your choices, and justify why you can't participate in things that everyone else seems to enjoy without consequence. You've sat in church services wondering if anyone else struggles like you do. You've watched others receive breakthrough after breakthrough, while you're still waiting for your first victory. You've questioned whether God plays favorites, whether you did something to disqualify yourself from His blessings, or whether you're being punished for past mistakes. The weight of those thoughts has been almost unbearable at times. You've driven home in silence, unable to find words to explain the heaviness in your chest. You've stood at the kitchen sink washing dishes while tears streamed down your face, hoping no one would walk in and see you breaking. I see you, beloved. God sees you. He has witnessed every tear that fell in the darkness. He has heard every prayer you whispered when your voice was too weak to speak aloud. He knows about the dreams that died, the relationships that crumbled, and the moments when you felt like giving up entirely. He was there in the hospital room when you got the diagnosis. He was there when you opened the envelope and read words that shattered your world. He was there when you sat across from someone you loved and realized they were leaving. He was there in every lonely night, every anxious morning, every overwhelming afternoon. But here is what the enemy doesn't want you to know. Every single one of those difficult moments, every confusing season, every painful loss was actually evidence that God was protecting something precious inside you. The struggles you've endured weren't signs of God's absence. They were proof of His presence, refining you, strengthening you, preparing you for what's coming. When you felt most alone, you were never abandoned. You were being sealed, set apart, and prepared for something far greater than you could imagine. The very things that almost broke you were actually building the foundation for your breakthrough. You are reading these words at this exact moment because divine appointment brought you here. Think about the series of events that led you to this message today. Think about the timing, the circumstances, the unexplainable nudge that made you pay attention. This is not coincidence, my friend. This is confirmation. God has been orchestrating your steps, even when you thought you were wandering aimlessly. Every closed door you mourned was actually a door God shut Himself to protect you from paths that would have derailed your destiny. Every relationship that ended, as painful as it was, removed influences that would have contaminated the calling God placed on your life. Consider the job you didn't get that you prayed so hard for. If you had received that position, you would have missed the true opportunity God was preparing. Think about the relationship that ended when you thought they were the one. If that person had stayed, they would have hindered the purpose God planted in you. Remember the move that fell through, the deal that collapsed, the plan that unraveled. At the time, you called it disappointment. Now God is revealing it was divine protection. What looked like rejection was actually God rejecting what would have rejected his plan for you. Those years you spent waiting, wondering if God had forgotten you. He was working behind the scenes in ways you couldn't see. While you saw delay, God saw preparation. While you experienced frustration, God was building foundation. While you thought you were going backward, God was actually positioning you for a greater leap forward. He was developing character in you that you'll need for the next chapter. He was teaching you dependence on him rather than on circumstances, people, or your own abilities. The season you thought was punishment was actually God's patient process of making you ready for what he always intended to give you. In the spiritual realm, conversations have been happening about your life. Angels have been dispatched. Demonic assignments have been canceled. Doors have been oiled and prepared to swing open. Provisions have been set aside with your name on them. People who don't even know you yet have been prepared to cross your path at precisely the right moment. Everything you need for your breakthrough has already been arranged. You're not waiting for God to start working. You're waiting for the fullness of time when what he's already prepared becomes visible to you. Right now, in this very moment, angelic activity is increasing around your life. Heaven is moving on your behalf in ways that will soon become visible to your natural eyes. Circumstances that seemed fixed are becoming fluid. Situations that appeared permanent are shifting. Hearts that were hardened toward you are softening. Minds that were closed to you are opening. Divine appointments are being orchestrated for tomorrow, next week, next month. You're about to experience what the Bible calls suddenly, when God moves quickly after you've been waiting patiently. The waiting season is coming to an end. I'm not speaking in vague spiritual terms. I'm declaring over your life that breakthrough is imminent. The doors that have been locked are beginning to creak open. The provisions that have been delayed are being released. The healing you've prayed for is manifesting. The peace that has eluded you is settling over your spirit. Within the next 24 hours, you will see evidence that God has heard your cries. Within the next week, circumstances will shift in ways that confirm divine intervention. Within the next month, you will look back at this moment and recognize it as the turning point. Listen carefully to what God is speaking over your life right now. That health concern that's been troubling you, healing is being released into your body. Those financial pressures that have been suffocating you, provision is coming from unexpected sources. That relationship that's been broken, either restoration is manifesting or the grace to move forward is flooding your heart. That peace you've been desperate for, it's settling over you like a warm blanket, starting right now. You are not imagining this shift. Your spirit is recognizing what heaven is releasing. The favor of God is resting on you in a new way. People who have overlooked you will suddenly notice you. Opportunities that passed you by will circle back around. Doors that closed in your face will open from the inside. You're entering a season where divine coincidences become common occurrences. You'll be in the right place at the right moment repeatedly, and you'll know it wasn't your planning. It was God's orchestration. Within this next season, you will receive confirmations that your prayers have been heard. These confirmations will be undeniable, specific, and personal. God will speak to you through circumstances, through people, through His Word, and through that still small voice in your spirit. The evidence of divine intervention in your life is about to become so obvious that even skeptics will have to acknowledge God's hand on you. God is opening doors right now that no human hand can close. He is dismantling obstacles that seemed immovable. He is speaking to people on your behalf who don't even know your name yet. He is rearranging circumstances and aligning divine appointments. What looked impossible yesterday is becoming possible today. What seemed like fantasy last month is about to become your testimony. Chains that have bound you for years are breaking. Strongholds that have resisted every effort are crumbling. patterns that have repeated throughout your life are being interrupted and replaced with new, healthy patterns that align with God's purpose for you. The enemy knows this, which is why he has been fighting you so hard. The intensity of spiritual warfare you've experienced lately isn't random. It's confirmation that breakthrough is close enough to threaten the darkness. When the enemy fights hardest, it's because he knows his time of influence over your situation is ending. Your warfare is proof of your worth and confirmation of your calling. God doesn't allow intense attacks on worthless targets. The level of resistance you faced is proportionate to the level of impact your breakthrough will have. But here's what you must understand. Breakthrough requires your participation. God has done his part, but now he needs you to align your words, your faith, and your actions with what he is releasing. You cannot speak defeat and expect to walk in victory. You cannot rehearse your pain and expect to experience healing. You cannot focus on lack and expect to manifest abundance. Right now, you need to make a decision. You must choose to speak differently, think differently, and act differently than you did yesterday. I want you to speak these words out loud, right where you are. God has sealed my life for his purpose. What he has begun in me, he will complete. I am coming out of this season stronger, wiser, and more faithful than ever before. Breakthrough is mine. Miracles are manifesting. Divine doors are opening. And nothing, absolutely nothing, can stop what God has ordained for my life. Speak it with authority. Speak it with conviction. Speak it even if your circumstances haven't changed yet. Your words have creative power, and when you declare God's promises over your life, you activate supernatural intervention. The enemy is trying to distract you right now. You might feel an urge to click away, to dismiss this as just another inspirational message. That resistance you're feeling isn't random. It's spiritual warfare attempting to steal this moment of activation from you. Don't you dare leave this message before you receive what God sent you here to get. This is your moment. This is your time. This is the divine interruption you've been praying for, even if you didn't recognize it when it arrived. I know what you're thinking. You've heard encouraging words before. You've believed for breakthrough before, only to face disappointment. You've gotten your hopes up, only to watch them crumble again. The enemy is whispering that this time won't be different. He's reminding you of past failures, past prayers that seemed unanswered, past seasons when you believed God and nothing happened. But that is a lie designed to keep you trapped in the very season you're breaking free from. Let me tell you something powerful about the way God works. He is not limited by your past disappointments. He is not discouraged by your previous failures. Every time you got back up, you proved something to heaven and hell, that you're not a quitter, that your faith isn't dependent on immediate results. Those moments you call failures, God calls faith-building exercises. Each time you believed again after disappointment, you strengthened spiritual muscles you'll need for this breakthrough. Your past disappointments do not determine your future outcomes. The times you believed and didn't see results weren't failures. They were building faith muscles. Every prayer you prayed that seemed unanswered was actually being stored up in heaven. And God is about to release accumulated blessings all at once. Think about Hannah, who prayed year after year for a son. Abraham waited 25 years for the promised son. Joseph waited 13 years in prison. David was anointed king but spent years running from Saul. Their waiting wasn't wasted time. It was preparation time. This is not wishful thinking. This is prophetic declaration over your life. Noah believed and built an ark before rain ever fell. For 120 years, he hammered and sawed while people mocked him, without seeing a single drop of water. Moses believed and stretched out his staff before the sea parted. He walked toward an impossible obstacle with nothing but God's word and a wooden stick. Joshua believed and marched around walls before they crumbled. For 6 days, nothing happened. The walls stood firm, but on the 7th day, obedience met divine timing and impossibility became history. Peter believed and stepped out of the boat before the miracle became visible. He didn't wait for the water to solidify. He didn't ask for a trial run in shallow water. He put his foot over the edge based solely on Jesus' word, and the water held him. The woman with the issue of blood believed and pushed through the crowd before her healing manifested. She spent her last energy, risked public humiliation, and reached for Jesus when logic said she should give up. Her breakthrough happened in the reaching, not in the seeing. Faith always precedes the manifestation. Your breakthrough is already in motion in the spiritual realm. It's just waiting for your faith to call it into the natural realm. Think of it like a package that's already been shipped to your address. It's in transit. It's coming. Your tracking information confirms it, but it hasn't arrived at your doorstep yet. That doesn't mean it's not real or that it's not yours. It just means you're in the space between promise and fulfillment, and that space requires faith. The biggest obstacle between you and your miracle isn't your circumstances, your bank account, your health, or your relationships. The biggest obstacle is your own mind. Your thoughts have been sabotaging you, rehearsing worst-case scenarios, replaying past hurts, and projecting current struggles into your future. But if you can renew your thinking, you can transform your reality. Romans 12:2 tells us to be transformed by the renewing of our minds. Transformation doesn't start with changed circumstances. It starts with changed thinking. God is asking you today, will you believe me even when you can't see it yet? Will you trust me even when nothing makes sense? Will you praise me even before the breakthrough is visible? Will you speak as though it's done when your situation says it's impossible? This is the kind of faith that moves mountains, opens prison doors, and brings dead things back to life. This is the faith God is calling forth from you right now. 1 year from now, you will look back at this very moment and recognize it as the day everything shifted. You'll remember reading these words. You'll remember the stirring in your spirit. You'll remember making the decision to believe God one more time. And you'll testify to others about how God brought you through the impossible. People will ask you how you made it. They'll want to know how you survived what should have broken you. And you'll point them back to this season, to this divine appointment, to the moment when God's seal on your life became undeniable. Picture yourself 12 months from now. You wake up without that weight on your chest. The anxiety that used to greet you every morning is gone. You look at your bank account, and instead of panic, you feel peace. The bills are paid, the needs are met, and there's even margin for blessing others. You think about that relationship that was causing you so much pain, and you realize either it's been healed beyond what you thought possible, or you've moved forward with such grace and wholeness that you barely remember the sting anymore. You walk into rooms differently now. There's a confidence that wasn't there before. Not arrogance, but assurance. You know who you are. You know whose you are. You know that God's seal on your life means you're protected, purposed, and provided for. People notice something different about you, though they can't quite name it. It's the peace that surpasses understanding. It's the joy that circumstances can't steal. It's the faith that's been tested and proven genuine. You sit with someone who's going through what you went through, and you hear yourself saying words that once seemed impossible. I understand what you're feeling. I've been there, but let me tell you what God did for me. And as you share your testimony, you watch hope return to their eyes. You watch their shoulders relax. You watch them start to believe again, because your breakthrough gave them permission to believe for theirs. This is what the seal of God produces. Not just personal victory, but overflow that blesses others. You'll remember the nights you cried yourself to sleep and marvel at how different you feel now. You'll remember the prayers you prayed in desperation and realize every single one was heard and answered, just not always in the way or timing you expected. You'll see how God was working even in the silence, even in the waiting, even in the seasons that felt abandoned. And you'll understand that His seal on your life meant you were never alone, never forgotten, and never without hope, even when it felt otherwise. Your story is about to become someone else's hope. Your testimony is about to become proof that God still does miracles. Your breakthrough is about to become evidence that God keeps His promises. The people watching your life, even those who doubt or criticize now, will have no choice but to acknowledge that God's hand is upon you. Your transformation will be so complete, so undeniable, that it will serve as a witness to everyone who knows your story. But first, you have to step into this moment with